What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to give you guys a quick big slate NBA slate breakdown for the 11 game slate going over here on DraftKings. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. I got maybe about 30 minutes to try to get this recording done, so no time to go back and forth, dotty daddle. If you guys new here, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you guys can get all the sauce, the good stuff that I put out over here on the channel, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Now, if you guys got the core I put out yesterday, you helped avoid some landmines, you had some good pieces, and there's no way that you did not cash and have a pretty good night if you play this right here. Bog, Dyson Daniels, low owned play. I even went over it in the video. You can go with Dyson Daniels over playing Trae Young, but just the access to that game right there was pretty good. Okongwu, bounce back game, beautiful. Drew Holiday actually went off and was the lower owned of the Boston players over there. Just, it fit. Everything fit so perfectly. Unfortunately, my personal feelings, because I had to find some value, I played Giannis. Giannis did not get to what I needed, was highly owned, but still couldn't crack the cash line, was right outside the cash line once again for myself, but still, the process, everything is pointing in the right direction. I'm cool with the results, as long as I continue to see that, hey, I'm going in the right direction. And that's how you guys should feel too. As long as you pay attention, realize that, okay, I'm getting it. I'm almost there. I'm right there. Because the takedowns, there's another one right around the corner. So again, it's 11 game slates. I only got a short amount of time. I'm not going to go over the full injury report for today. Instead, I'm going to try to break it down as I go through the games. Really, as I go through the games, I'm just going to focus on the main players that I'll be targeting and attacking. Not too much banter like I normally do whenever I go through this. Like I said, limited amount of time. But if you guys want to pause this, or if you want to go to RotoWire and look at the NBA lineups that they have for today, you can definitely go ahead and search that up, and you'll be able to see who's in, who's out. Definitely follow Underdog on Twitter, or just you can Google it, and then you'll be able to see the updates as they put it out whenever they get injury report news and stuff like that. All right, so head on over to DraftKings, the site to play the most on the site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on The King. Also, if you guys looking for my player pool, my NBA course, just like the one that you saw at the beginning of this video, or all my other prop content, everything else that I put out, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon, or you can click it right there, which is what was posted right here on the YouTube tab. It's right here underneath the YouTube membership for members only. You can get that if you check it. It's right next to the subscription button. You got the join button right there. Boom, you get all the sauce, all the content that I put out over there on the YouTube for you right there. So first game on the slate, we got Dallas taking on Indy. Big thing for Dallas, they got PJ Washington back in that last game. He was out there. He played 32 minutes in his return after missing quite some time with that ankle injury. Going up against Indy, a team that we know we can attack at opposing power forwards. All the usage and everything that he has, the minutes are there for him. I like PJ Washington as one of the main studs that you can get to over here. And for the fact that PJ is 200 less than Najee March. I understand Najee March was going off for us, was playing tremendous ball, and still is. But when I can get the same upside that Najee March has with PJ Washington, I'd rather go ahead and take PJ, who's a phenomenal rebounder. Definitely go out there and score. Scores his ass off whenever he needs to, and he's going to have to take a ton of shots out there for us. So I like going to PJ instead of Najee March. Najee March is the GP pivot that you can go to right there instead, but definitely PJ because he can play some of that small ball center spot as well over there. Klay Thompson, 6'7", not really too interested, but you definitely go there. His minutes are going to be kind of secure. And as long as they're going to keep on starting Brandon Williams, I know 32 minutes in that last game, but came back down to earth, only made 8 of his shots. Not really on the assist department right there. Still gives some defensive stats, but only 19 fantasy points. I wouldn't mind going back to him. This is a spot that we have seen opposing point guards be able to have really big games. And as long as he's good, he's healthy, and he's going to continue to play the minutes and play the role, I don't mind playing him here in this spot. Everyone else over here on the broken Dallas Mavericks, I'm not too interested in mess with them. Spencer Dinwiddie, you guys already know I don't really mess with that. Max Christie, it looks like he just got his powers absorbed for quite some time. Yes, popped off going up against Philly, but I'm not going to chase that. He's been way too inconsistent. Definitely big slate. There's no need to honestly chase and go to that. Edwards, if Kai Jones is still out, he will be a viable option because he has been playing that center spot, and the minutes will be secure. But if Kai Jones does play, I definitely do like Kai because we know, still waiting to see this again. If he's going to be able to go out there and play another 30+ minutes and give us a fantasy point per minute, 5,200, I don't mind that as a value center option that you can get to on today's slate. Switching things going on over to the Indiana Pacers side, we got a shakeup in the news because last game we had Miles Turner was out, Siakam was out, and so was Tyrese Halliburton. And then Nembhard got ejected in that game. We got to see Mathurin. He was out there. He got the start. Obi Toppin popped off out there. 45 minutes, 57.5 fantasy points, and had the game winner. Amazing game. Going right back over here, as long as everybody is in, if Siakam's back, Halliburton's back, Turner's good to go and play, we can attack all these guys. I mean, Dallas, They're not the strong defensive team that we got to see in that one game with AD being out there. That defense is honestly skid, is slid, and really is kind of we're gonna try it out for you, but Dallas should be taking. All these guys are going to be in place. Siakam, Halliburton, Miles Turner, Neesmith, I don't mind going to Nembhard. Everybody in the starting five, they're all good to go. If I got to rank them, Dallas doesn't have any centers. If we can get an aggressive Miles Turner, I think he can definitely pay off the salary, the spot. Opposing centers, they've been doing pretty good, especially the ones that actually have the size, the ones that are not just one-dimensional type players. Miles Turner can be that, especially because he can stretch the floor. He can also has the block upside and stuff like that, and also he can rebound the ball when he decides he wants to rebound. I don't mind going to him. In the one game that he did play versus Dallas this season, he dropped 50 fantasy points on them, and that was back in November. Of course, that was a completely different team. You had Gafford, you had Lively, and everything over there for them. But again, I wouldn't mind getting to Miles Turner at a 6,400 price tag. Halliburton, if he's in, I wouldn't. You can mess with that. I don't hate it. He dropped 55 in that game versus them last time out. Completely different team than what it is. But I will say, opposing point guards, they have been struggling a bit going up against Dallas over the last 5 games. So a little bit not too high on Halliburton here in the spot. And then Siakam, again, no bigs really out there for him. If he can keep this role that he was with the 51, 47, and 40 fantasy points, makes for interesting option. But as you can tell, my favorite one will be Miles Turner right now. And then the value that you can get in Neesmith and Nembhard for these two. If Mathurin somehow gets a start, definitely would jump heads over heels to go ahead and play Ben Mathurin here in this position, but not anything that we're going to be forcing. Miles Turner, best play over there for me on Indy. Going on over to the Houston Rockets, taking on the Orlando Magic. That dude Tari Eason is real. Tari, last game out there, 39 minutes going up against Philly, and was the leading scorer for a minute before Jalen Green was actually able to get it going. 35 fantasy points in the game. Love his upside still, 6,300. I'll probably pay him until he gets close up too high to the 7K range. But as long as he's going to start, he's going to play the minutes. I love the upside for him. This matchup going up against Orlando, they're going to need him out there to be able to guard Paolo. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, he can go out there, continue to be aggressive, and play how he's playing. I don't mind looking at Tari Eason as a possible play. And then on the flip side of things, the second player I talked about, Jalen Green, the peripheral stats. Even with Freddie V being back, he's still getting these rebounds. The assist is still there. Really great rebounding numbers. I like it. I ended up playing his rebounds as a prop last time out, and just phenomenal upside. It's really crazy that he's rebounding so well, especially with just everyone being out there, Tari being out there, Dylan Brooks, Şengün. It's amazing, but the scoring is what we really be needing from him, and he's giving it. So I don't mind looking at that right there for him going up against Orlando. I know versus Orlando, he dropped 39 fantasy points versus them earlier this season. I can go right back there to 7,900, play that was in the mid 8K range, that where it's like, makes you have to think. But if you want to get some access to these early games, I wouldn't mind taking a Jalen Green or a Tari Eason. Bart Smith Jr., his minutes have slowly been taken up. I understand this game with the OT here versus Philly, so that's why he ended up with 39 minutes. But if you're telling me that Jabari is finally going to be getting some quote-unquote recognition in regards to the minutes that he's playing, and you know, if you guys don't know, he has a vendetta against the Orlando Magic because he thought he was going to be going number 1. He was in that draft class with Chet, Paolo, and him. So, hey, he likes to play going up against the Magic. He wants to try to give him the business. And earlier this season, played 32 minutes versus them, dropped 32 fantasy points. I will admit, the games that he has played in Orlando, he has not played the best throughout his career so far, which of course is a short career. In Orlando, he's only dropped 4 fantasy points and 16 fantasy points in the last 2 seasons. Away from Orlando, he's dropped 24 points and 24 fantasy points in 28 minutes and 43 fantasy points in 40 minutes. So definitely GPP option right there. Not a main staple or something that you have to get to, but definitely something you can mess with if you want to go right there. Going on over to the Orlando Magic side, it was already reported that Cole Anthony was not present at shoot-around or participating in shoot-around, so I would imagine that Cole Anthony is going to be out again, and we're going to get the start from Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph, if he's going to continue to start, makes for interesting value play, 3,300. He's going out there. He's pretty much kind of getting us the value. As long as he's getting close to 20, I'll take that. 3,300, he's like the Steph Curry of tonight, pretty much to me, in my eyes. You can mess with that if you want to. I will say that Houston Rockets are a pretty decent defensive team. Now, you might not think that after seeing Quentin Grimes be able to go out there and just... And we're going to get to Quentin Grimes in a minute, but Quentin Grimes, I know I said no rambling, but I'll save it for when I get to Philly. I'll save it for when I get to Philly. But I got to give Quentin Grimes his flowers for a second, and when we get to that. But looking over here for Orlando, really nobody sticks out to me. No one is like a staple play that I have to get to that I want to play. Of course, Paulo, France, they normally will be low owned because you got other studs on the slate. No one likes to go to them. It's going to be a tougher matchup going up against Houston. You would imagine that it's not going to be too much out there for him. So really, maybe KCP and Corey Joseph will be the only two I would truly take some interest in, and that I will want to get to over there for them. Detroit taking on the Miami Heat. Looking over here for them. Cade Cunningham, game stays close. We know he can go out there and give us more than a fantasy point per minute and give us a really good upside. So Cade, I can go right back to the well. 9.9, he was priced up in the 10K range, and the price is slowly starting to tick down. So hopefully we can get one of those explosive 55, 60 fantasy point outings. And I definitely do think this could be one of those spots because he seems to like playing versus Miami. 48, 44, and 66 fantasy points versus them in his 3 games that he's played versus them this season. So pretty much he has a safe floor around 40, and we know that he can get up to a ceiling of 60 plus. Would not mind looking at him as one of my staples as a stud on today. That definitely makes some sense. Outside of that, Tobias Harris is going to continue to be that 2 fiddle over here for them. The upside 5,600, don't mind that at all. Bam Adebayo defense, depends on what you can actually get over there. We could definitely see an upside for Tobias Harris. We can mess with that. Dennis Gordaire, minutes off the bench, seem to be pretty secure. He's out there, he's playing the role, he's doing what he got to do. I don't mind looking towards Dennis. If you get down into this 4,600 4K range, you don't see a true starter or something like that you want to get to, you have to play a reliable, safe-ish bench player. I'll give Dennis a safe spot just because he looks like his floor right now is 18-ish, and I feel like he can get us to about 25 if he's playing, good direction. Outside of that, everyone else over here would be a GPP option for me. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, Asar, who just minutes. I'm not even going to chase it anymore. I'm not. I just can't, because it does not make sense. You tell me that he's down on minutes limit, but he still plays like he's on the minute limit. It doesn't make any sense. On the flip side of things, looking over here at Miami, I believe that Wiggins was not present in regards to shoot around. I believe that he's more towards doubtful, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if they actually have it up here. Nope, they got him still as a game time decision. If Andrew Wiggins is going to be out, we're going to see another shakeup in the starting lineup. We should possibly see Jaime Jaquez Jr. get the start. Once again, played 30 minutes in that last game versus New York Knickerbockers, dropped 34.75 fantasy points. Game going up against Detroit. Love the upside, love the position, love the spot. I'll go right back to Jaime Jaquez, who is sitting at 4,100 and is, to me, the best value over here on the Miami Heat today. Outside of that, if they're going to continue to start Duncan Robinson, if they have to, this is a GPP option to me just because Duncan is so reliant on his scoring. He has to score in order for him to truly get you the upside. And one of the games out of the 3 that they played going up against Detroit this season, off the bench, he did drop 34 fantasy points. So the upside is there, especially if he's banging them in from 3. That's what we need in regards to it. Duncan, he's just so reliant on scoring. That's the only fear that I have with messing with him here. But I will say, opposing power forwards, I have liked what they've been able to do going up against the Detroit, and I will go right back to Bam Adebayo. I don't believe that he shouldn't be starting at the center spot today. It should still be oh no, wait. I don't know why they have that projected as that, unless last time I checked there wasn't nothing wrong with where. So unless they want to get a shakeup of things and they're gonna have Bam actually start at the center spot, which that really does suck if they're gonna do that. You can still mess with Bam, but I would have liked him at the 4 just because he would have had kind of a easier matchup. Tobias Harris isn't any defense to be scared of, but having to deal with Jalen Duren, an actual aggressive center that can definitely play some pretty good defense. That mid-range game, unless Bam's going to really be knocking down from 3 or something like that. I don't like that too much. Tyler Hero, though, we could definitely consider going over here to Tyler. He's coming off some pretty bad games over his last couple games versus them. Going up against Detroit this season, he's had one game where he popped for 70 fantasy points. You can hope that lightning can strike twice, but not really anything that I got to get to over there. Again, main play for me is going to be Jaime Jaquez from that team when it comes down to it. New York Knickerbockers taking on the San Antonio Spurs. As long as Jalen Brunson is going to be out and we're going to get Miles McBride, this is the perfect matchup to honestly take Miles McBride going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Weak team going up against them at the guard position. I won't mind getting to him. And I know the upside should actually just be lucrative. We just saw Luka drop 61, CJ McCollum drop 50, LaMelo drop 58. So not saying Miles McBride is those guys, but his scoring, it's very good. I know that he can go out there and pepper it in from 3, but he does have some playmaking upside, and the defense should be there. And if the game was to somehow get a blowout or something like that, which it possibly will, he could still be out there on the court with young guys and things of that nature to go ahead and play. So I don't mind getting to Miles McBride. outside of Miles McBride, this is one of those games that Mikal Bridges should continue the role that he's been doing. One of my plays that I wanted to play today, and I've been looking at it. I was looking at his assist, just because the assists have been pretty consistent since Brunson has been down. I wouldn't mind taking it up to 5. Would be where I'm kind of at right now with him. I consider playing it into a parlay that if you guys want to see that parlay, check the link in the description for the Patreon or check the YouTube membership tab. Parlay's already been posted for that, but I like Mikal Bridges. This is a good spot for Mikal here going up against San Antonio Spurs. Upside, it should be through the roof to me in my eyes in regards to what he should be able to go out here and do. And last time going up against San Antonio Spurs this season, he dropped 59 fantasy points. Now I'm not hoping for a repeat of that, but opposing twos have been cooking going up against them, and possibility he can get Castle into some foul trouble or something like that. So I do like the outside. Towns, Biz back beyond, ain't stopping that. Josh Hart, this is just one of those games that you got to hope he can get the peripheral stats, because I'm not going to rely on him to go out there and score. So 8K, just gotta hope we're not gonna get a floor Josh Hart game. He dropped 41 versus them early this season, so you can chase that if you want to. OG Anunoby, I would much rather go here just because I know he has the GPP winning upside. Nobody likes to click OG Anunoby's name. I promise you, nobody likes to click him. He's always typically the lowest owned Nick player whenever it comes down to it. So I would much rather go ahead and get to OG Anunoby when it comes down to it. If I have to go over here with them, but Miles McBride and Mikal Bridges, just 2 favorite plays over here for me on the New York Knicks side when it comes down to it for them. On the San Antonio Spurs side of things, really nobody stuck out to me truly. I will continue to go and play Castle as long as he's going to be starting. He should be out there getting the minutes, making his Rookie of the Year campaign for him. Safe floor to me of at least 30 fantasy points. Upside can be there for him. Going up against New York Knicks early this season, he only played 17 minutes, and that was off the bench. He dropped 13 fantasy points in that game. I will continue to. The shot is there. I know he can go out there and score. Had me a little scared in that last game. I needed him to get 20 points. He got 20 points. So still, but Sam Castle, definitely the upside. Like it. I'll go right back there. Outside of that, nobody else really is like staple plays that I have to get to. You can mess with Keldon Johnson, Shochan, and Champagny, just because those guys are continuously getting minutes due to the plays that they have out, and you're kind of limiting what you're playing with Chris Paul. You're limiting what you're doing with Harrison Barnes. You're limiting what you're doing with Bismack Biyombo, some of your older players. So that's what I would go to over there for the San Antonio Spurs. Now to Philly. Philly might have won the trade. Philly might have won something, because Quentin Grimes, I need to understand this if Quentin Grimes is truly a 1 or a 2. Because if you're telling me that if Quentin Grimes can fit into this core that you have with Tyrese Maxey, McCain, I believe that's his name. That's the rookie that they had that got shut down earlier this season. And if you can get a healthy, somewhat Joel Embiid, if Quentin Grimes can actually play the 3, that'd be good. If you don't shop Paul George, you keep Paul George there, and you play Paul George at the 4, Philly could have a decent young-ish, like your main 3 guys right there are your young core with Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey, and McCain. Like that's good. And I only say that just because the thing is, of course, we know NBA players, they can play. They can play. They're obviously good at something. I know as much trash as I give to like Spencer Dinwiddie and stuff like that, at the end of the day, they're the top of the top there for a reason. So everything that we're seeing Quentin Grimes do right now, yes, it's due to opportunity that he has on the team that he's with, but this stuff has obviously already been there, and it's been there for quite some time. He was just limited to a role that he had to play when he was on Dallas. That's why we really didn't see this upside from him. But the dude's going out there dropping career highs, 46, and I want to say he had set a career high earlier when he dropped to 44. Broke your career high in the same season, 76.75, putting up Joker, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo numbers. Quentin Grimes, that's just crazy. But I will say 8,600, I ain't touching that today. I'm not chasing the 70-something 100. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna chase that. But if you want to mess with Quentin Grimes, go ahead. You can hope that the lightning will strike 3 times. I will say right now, currently, he might be front runner for most improved player, straight up. And I hope that will be something that he can actually win, even though he switched teams. And then that's when we're seeing the outbursts and everything for him. But the numbers, everything that this kid is doing, I would have him top of the ballot for most improved. Like, that's just crazy. Outside of Quentin Grimes, you should be going up against the B team of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know that you're going to be able to go out there and score. We know that the Thunder, yes, we will still play some solid defense, things of that nature. You know, we're still going to run our schemes, so on and so forth. But Quentin Grimes, He's still doing what he has to do. 8,600 makes for a decent mid-tier pay up option that you can get to, but not something that I feel like you got to force. Jared Butler, he used to play for us, actually. I want to say either a year or two ago. You can mess with Jared Butler if you want to. That's not a bad spot right there, but I will say I really kind of want to focus on like Ricky Council at the 5-1 price tag. I think that's a sweet spot. Decent position for him. I don't mind going to that. I know he's going to go out there and play at least about 25 to 30 minutes. I think the upside is definitely there for him. And the one game that he did play versus us back in January, he played 35 minutes and he dropped 21 fantasy points. He was a part of that B squad, that secondary squad that we ended up playing going up versus Philly the first time. So Ricky Council, Doughton, those guys would be the ones I would look to. I mean, they're just dealing with a plethora of injuries. If Brischetti gets to start again, you could definitely mess with that if you want to, but not necessarily forcing and going there if I got to. Ricky Council, though, favorite play over here for these guys when it comes down to it. Now, my OKC Thunder. This is the second time we're going to be seeing this exact same thing right here. We saw a game already where SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, all these guys sat. And that game, we got to see legit the B squad go out there, and it was kind of highlighted by Jalen Williams, the center, and Andrew Wiggins going out there and just having phenomenal. Aaron Wiggins. I'm confusing my people right now, but went out there and had a phenomenal game. For me, when it comes down to it with this game, if Chet plays, he's going to be the de facto main guy, and this is going to be a great matchup for him. And I wouldn't mind going to Chet. I would love to play Chet, of course, all the usage, everything. We kind of saw it recently where one of the other games where everyone was rested and Chet was out there. He was the de facto guy, played, boom, bada bing. Don't mind going to Chet. Love going there as a pay-up option, especially if iHeart is going to be sat and he's going to miss this game as well. Then he's going to have to play the center spot. And we know he can go out there and he can play the 4 as well with the other Jalen Williams. Outside of that, Andrew Wiggins. This is the exact same thing again. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to be out there starting. He can go out there and give us another Portland performance where he played 32 minutes, dropped 44.75 fantasy points. Like the upside, wouldn't mind getting to that here for him as well. If Isaiah Joe gets to start, I can go with Isaiah Joe. Casey Wallace, he should be the actual point guard here today. I don't think that they're going to start Alex Caruso just because they are very good with keeping Alex in his secondary role where he belongs, coming off of the bench and playing with the second string. If Kevin Williams is getting the start, I don't think he's going to play more than 20 to 25-ish minutes. It's a thing where players get to start. Sometimes you're like, yeah, good value, but they typically miss in that first game. He missed in the first and second game that he started. I'm on the fence if I want to really focus in on Kenny Hustle. I'm going to be very honest with that. Very honest. Instead, I kind of feel like I want to prioritize Wallace, Joe, Wiggins, Chet. That's really where I'm looking at over here for these guys right now. That's really where I'm focusing on over here for the Thunder. But we'll have that news hopefully before the slate actually locks. Pelicans taking on the Minnesota Timberpups. Zion Williamson went out here. He played 28 minutes in that last game. I don't fault Zion. What I fault is the fact that y'all were down by 30 going into the halftime versus the Detroit fucking Pistons, man. That made no freaking sense. Really, really, really honestly killed every upside play that I had for my parlays and stuff on that day because Cade did not have to play the I'm not even going to be a dead horse. Zion going up against the Minnesota Timberpups. This should be a tougher matchup for him, sitting at 9,200 price tag where he's been at for the last couple of slates. We already know that he's the team. He's going to go out there. He's going to do everything, rebound, assist, score. He has to score. And honestly, is one of the main staples in the parlay that I have stacked up. Again, if you guys want to see that, check the link down in the description below or hit that join button right there. Big thing for Orlando is that Trey Murphy, he's done. Tore labrum or something like that in the shoulder. So we possibly should see Jose Alvarado go ahead and actually get to start here. If they don't want to start Jose Alvarado, then we will probably be seeing a mixture of Jordan Hawkins starting, and you still got CJ playing at the 1, or which pretty sure Bruce Brown is already still going to have to start. Or they could go Bruce Brown starting and still CJ McCollum run the point, or Bruce Brown can run the point. So definitely it's a toss-up in regards to what the Pelicans can do. We do have to get that news because I want to know who's going to actually start at the point. I wouldn't mind taking them and looking at in that direction. Kelly Olynyk gets the Julius Randle matchup. Same thing with Zion. Both of them are going to be dealing with Julius Randle out there. I will take either one of those guys. Kelly O, we already know stat sheet stuffer, can do it in all types of ways. Go out there and get us a decent fantasy point outing. 24 minutes, drop 21.25 fantasy points at 5,400. I'll take that. I know he can go out there and get me about 25 if the game stays competitive enough where he's going to actually be out there on the court. Love his upside. Don't mind going to him here today. The value, of course, is going to be Bruce Brown, Jordan Hawkins, and Jose Alvarado, depending on who gets to start over here. This is definitely where we're going to get some value pieces from the Pelicans. Over here on the Minnesota Timberpups, Anthony Edwards, it's Ant. I'm not going to talk about it. Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert. Again, for me, still, I do like McDaniels' upside just because he's in the same boat to me that we just talked about Dyson Daniels yesterday. A player who is stuffing the stat sheet, doing it everywhere, but the scoring is there. And if he has a good scoring night, we know he's going to give us a good fantasy outing. But the defensive stats that he can go out there and grab for us, that's what really separates him from the rest. I love it at his price tag at 6,400. That just makes too much sense to me in this position. Now, I understand when he played earlier versus them in the season, back in, well, not technically earlier, but back in January, he only put up 15 fantasy points in 31 minutes. This is a different Jaden McDaniels that we're dealing with right now. Love the upside for him here. Would rather play him over Julius Randle if I had to choose between the two. When it came down to it, that's where I would go. If Rudy Gobert is going to actually get mid 25, 30 minutes, we already know opposing centers going up against Pelicans is definitely a spot that we want to play. You can take it, but I ain't trusting this guy. I'm not. Everyone else over here, Dr. DiVincenzo will be the only other one that would actually make some interest to me. Nas Reed, the price needs to come down just a little bit more for me. Get back down to below 5.5 because you're still coming off the bench. I'm not too interested in going right there for it. Going on over to the Washington Wizards, taking on the Utah Jazz, which should be a interesting and decent game. Lauri Markkanen recently got ruled out while I was going ahead doing this recording, so that will be interesting. Jordan Poole was listed as doubtful, but now he is questionable because I just saw that pop across my screen as well. Marcus Smart is now listed questionable on the injury report, and Walker Kessler is available to play. So some update news right here for the Washington Wizards taking on Utah. If Poole is in, then Poole's in. Of course, this is going to be a good spot for him going up against Utah, who we know we can attack with pretty much 1 through 5. I would say I would much rather play the young guys, and one young guy who is making a case and trying to say like, yo, I'm a rookie too. Alex Sarr, who is going out here and having some phenomenal games over his last couple of games. 37 fantasy points versus Portland in the last game. This could be one of those spots that we could see him go out here and repeat what he did earlier this season, where he played 29 minutes and dropped 39 fantasy points. The shot, it's falling. It's there. I wouldn't mind possibly taking him to make 2 threes and getting me 15 to 20 points. That would be a nice little stack I could take for Alex Sarr. I like the upside for it. Wouldn't mind taking it. Outside of looking at Alex Sarr, of course, if Poole's going to be ruled out, this is going to be one of those spots which I'm glad I didn't go ahead and lock it in because I was going to take Carlton Carrington for his assist. I was looking at taking his assist. If Poole was going to be out, I wanted to ladder it up, take it up to 10 because you're going up against Utah, one of the teams that gives up a ton of assists. He's going to have to be playmaking out there, more likely starting at the point. That's going to be depending on if I might still take it, even with Poole being in. I might just still take it. Might still mess with that right there. But he did play pretty well going up against Utah when they played. He dropped 39 fantasy points himself as well, and he also had 9 assists in that game. So a ladder spot for me is Carlton Carrington. Love his assist. Is potential for me to take that. Outside of Sarr, Carrington, Champagne, long season starting lineup. I already know that they ruled out Chris Middleton for this game, so his minutes are pretty much should be secure. He should be out there to play the game. Play at least about 25-30 minutes like what he's played before this game right here going up against Portland. I do like his upside, and I wouldn't mind playing him here in this position spot. Outside of that, no one else really is interesting to me. Keyshawn George, if he's going to be out, then we know for sure. Champagne, those minutes are definitely going to be locked in for him right there. And we possibly could see like a Rashad Holmes, a Boca or something like that, possibly getting some extra burn. Oh, almost forgot about him. This kid right here, AJ Johnson. 35 minutes in the last game, 22.25 fantasy points, one of the top value options on today, and highly owned currently right now due to the matchup and just his price and projected to be starting. Definitely can look there in that direction as another value option for you on today's slate. Like I said, Walker Kessler was originally projected as out. Now, all of a sudden, he's listed as a game time decision. Really, they are trying to give us so much misdirection on today's slate. And Utah Jazz, they play too many games. They really cannot decide what the hell they're going to be doing. But John Collins is out. Lauri Markkanen is out. This is kind of what we've seen prior before in regards to the shakeup of what Utah likes to go out there and do. The main 2 scorers and contributors that we have over there for them, they're out. So that means as long as Colin Sexton is out there starting, and if Filipowski can possibly start at the 4 or get decent minutes, I like both of these guys over here for them. Keyshawn George, he's there. He's back. He's going to be playing off the bench. They're not going to start him. Definitely something that you can consider, that you can go to if you want to, but 6,600 versus 6,400 Colin Sexton is starting. I'd rather play Colin Sexton when it comes down to it. Isaiah Collier has not been really delivering for me whenever I played him over his last couple games, but the assists are slowly starting to tick back up. This is the range that I like to see his assist in, and I don't mind taking him for a baseline floor of 6 with the upside of him possibly being able to break 10 assists again and get the double-double for me. Good matchup for him going up against Washington Wizards. We can definitely mess with that if you want to look in that direction. He did play very well versus Washington in his first game. He dropped 37 fantasy points in that game. So the upside is tremendously, and it's there for him. I really, really do hope that Filipowski can start at the 4, because this is just, the dude's a really great fantasy point per minute producer when he's out there on the court. He dropped 42 fantasy points versus them earlier this season. I will go right back to that if I could. For him, long as he actually starts. He has to start for me. He has to start. I know off the bench, the minutes have been just very spotty in regards to what he's been able to give us, but when he starts, he produces, and this is a great matchup for him. Outside of that, not really going to force anything over here. Cody Williams, it would be the GPP dark throw that you could take his chance on. Just the minutes and the upside has not necessarily been there for him. Cleveland on the back end of a back-to-back. Evan Mobley ended up being ruled in, so there's a possibility we could see somebody rested here in this spot. Good. If all the guys are going to be in, then of course you guys already know Evan Mobley, one of my favorite plays over from the Cavs. But outside of that, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, all those guys can be potentially play, and we can consider them. But none of them really stick out unless somebody's going to be ruled out. Main guys over here for the Cavs would be the only thing I would take unless somebody misses. Then you shift the usage, focus on the main guys, and then you can look towards some of the auxiliary pieces like Max Strus or someone to be able to step up in their absence. For the Sacramento Queens, looking over here for them. Jonas Valanciunas is back in our life because Sabonis is going to be missing some games. Want to say his ankle or whatnot that he ended up effing up. If you guys did not watch the masterclass that Zubac went out there and put on Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, my God, go back and watch the highlights. 2020 game. Jonas, stay out of foul trouble. I love your upside today. I'm not going to say that you're going to be a baby Zubac, but you can definitely give me some really good upside at 7,400 today. Possibility being one of my main pieces in the 10 p.m. slate, which... let me know down in the comment section if you guys want me to drop a 10 p.m. late night core. I will go ahead and do that for you guys. Just let me know, and I'll put that one out there for free for everybody. But you gotta let me know down in the comment section, and make sure that you are subscribed when you do. Outside of Jonas Valanciunas being a really good play over here, DeRozan, Zach LaVine, prices just like they're there. Not really something that I feel like we have to get to. Malik Monk 7,800, dropped 50.75 fantasy points versus the Memphis Grizzlies. You can entertain it, but nobody truly is like, I have to get to. Outside of Jonas Valanciunas, I just like the matchup in the spot, especially getting the Cavs bigs on the back end of a back-to-back. I just feel like there's some upside in wanting to go there. Memphis Grizzlies taking on Portland. This is kind of going to be the same song and dance. No Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. As long as JJJ stays out of foul trouble, he's a great play. Desmond Bane, price is going skyrocketing up, but I mean, it's well worth it considering what he's going out there doing. Just came off a 61 fantasy point outing at low ownership versus Sacramento Queens. I mean, shoot, dude's taking the shots. He's doing everything, can stuff the stat sheet. And if he wants to get the assist, he can get the assist. Like the upside for Desmond Bane, I would go right back there if you want to get like a low-owned, high-price player. Desmond Bane will be your guy. Jaren Jackson Jr. more than likely will be higher owned between the two just because it is JJJ. And he's played well going up against Portland so far on the season. I can mess with that right there. But I will say, if Luke Kennard, he's back, he's good. He's playing starting point guard role. Can definitely mess with that right there for value. Scottie Pippen Jr. was out last game, I want to say due to his wrist or something. So if Scottie misses, then that's just going to pretty much kind of solidify that Luke Kennard will get to play decent minutes. Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson, all those guys off the bench, they're seeing some role, they're seeing some burn and run, but it's going to be the main guys over here for me. Desmond Bane, JJJ, Luke Kennard, especially if Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be out once again. Outside of that, not really trying to force Zach Edey into my life because every single time I do, he just makes me want to cry. Looking on over to the Portland Trailblazers side of things, Clinging. This could be a good spot for him going up against Edey. He's playing in his minutes. He's out there. We just need him to actually want to score and give us some type of upside. GPP option that you can mess with, but not nothing that you got to force. Outside of that, Denny Avdia, just the way the dude's been playing, really kind of disappointed. Only 27 minutes versus the Washington Wizards. Definitely could have played some more minutes out there. Fuck you, Chauncey. Fuck you. But definitely go right back to Denny Avdia. He's played well versus Memphis. He dropped 39 fantasy points in the second game versus them this season. First game, he only played 13 minutes and dropped 9 fantasy points. Still, the upside is there for him. He's balling. He is doing everything. And honestly, he disappointed last game. I can see him being low owned here in the spot, and I love the upside for a low owned Denny Avdia, who has continued to come through for me time and time again. Outside of that, Shaden Sharp, we can consider that 6,400. Anthony Simons, kind of your like mid-tier, okay options that we can get to over here for them, especially if Kamara was to miss, then we should see a ton of shots for Anthony Simons, like what he did going up against Washington. I do like the upside if you want to take that. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Los Angeles Fakers. Man, the fact that they were able to go out there and beat the Golden State Warriors without Jamal Murray, without the Joker, without Christian, like that just speaks volumes to the Nuggets, man. Like that has off. I expect the Joker to be back today because he was pretty much rested to play going up against the Lakers, which they got their asses handed to him when they played them coming out of the All-Star break. I do not believe that you're going to be able to double the Joker again like what you were, because you're not going to have Ron out there, who was actually a big part of the rotations and stuff that you guys were out there doing. I do think this is going to be more of a who's going to score 150 points first type game. Both teams are honestly liking to push the pace, and I see the upside. I definitely see a triple-double for the Joker here in the spot. Like, you still don't have no one to be able to guard and defend him. You're not going to be able to double him the whole night. He's still going to be able to eat on the glass, get his rebounds if he decides he wants to go ahead and board up out there. So, Joker 12.9, that is your highest spend pay up option on today's slate. You can take it if you want to. I don't necessarily feel like you have to. Like I always say, when the Joker's above 12.5, I really have to scratch my head and truly try to dig and find the value. 12.9 is of course, it's the same thing. Now, if he was below 12.5, I would consider it, and I would be like, you know what? He's probably going to go ahead and drop 70. I do believe he has triple-double upside, but if it doesn't fit to my lineup, snug, good, where I feel good about everything else, I'm not going to force it. Instead, I'll focus on the auxiliary pieces: Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, who amazingly went out here and dropped 38 actual points versus the Warriors. What the fuck? AG, man. Yeah. Not going to expect the exact same repeat, but all these guys are in contention, and I would play over worrying about trying to play the Joker. If I got to rank them, it's going to be Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Braun. That's how I rank them when it comes down to it. Russell Westbrook, if somebody was to sit and he was to get the start, you guys already know Russell's like just a smash play, and I wouldn't mind locking him in. Now, we got the same decision to make over here on the Los Angeles Faker side of things. Luka Doncic is sitting at 12.5. I don't mind paying up for Luka Doncic if I can find the value and everything. I know he can go out there and give me 60, triple-double upside, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. Austin Reeves is sitting at 9K, and he's pretty much replicating what Luka is doing. And he's the 1B. He's taking his shots. It's going up against Denver, a weak defensive team. 4, 4, 4, 5 threes. Might mess with his 3, 4, and 5 threes tonight as well. So Austin Reeves at 9K, give me the savings off of Luka. Give me the exposure to this game. Maybe run it back with Aaron Gordon or Jamal Murray over there. Get the upside of that. Instead of trying to play and force these two main studs into my line, where I can get a more than likely lower owned stud in some of these other games, that's the direction that I think I want to go in tonight. Don't mind it. And there's some good value over here on the Lakers. Goodwin, as long as they're going to continue to start this dude and he's going to go out there and play over 30 minutes, hell yeah, 4,700. Why not? Besides Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith, I know he's out there for defense, but GPP, he's going to eventually pop in one of these games as long as he's getting the start and he's playing the minutes. Definitely do like him as a potential pop candidate that we can get to. As long as Rui's going to still be out, LeBron is still out, I would definitely go ahead and take that. And then Jackson Hayes, we've seen opposing centers have been able to cook going up against the freaking Nuggets. Now, it's Jackson Hayes. I'm still going to temper my expectations, but that would just be a spot that we can consider and possibly go to if we're looking for decent ownership plays that we can get out of that game. Going on over to the last game of the night. If you guys have made it this far, definitely please drop a like on the video if you guys are enjoying the content. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. I know I went a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to go. Almost there, though. Chicago Bulls on their side, Josh Giddey, game time decision. Got to know if Josh is going to be back or not. If Josh is going to still be out, then that's just going to be a boost to everyone else over there for us. You know, the Trey Jones, the Kobe White, the Kevin Huerter, which I would imagine if Giddey's back, Kevin Huerter probably goes back to the bench. Unless they decide they want to keep Kevin Huerter in the starting lineup, put Trey Jones back on the bench, and let Giddey go back and run the point. We're not going to have that news before lock. So you can backload and try to prepare for it. But if Giddey's in, I mean, if he's not limited, cool, we can go there. But I will say Vooch slowly coming off of that minutes limit. Minutes are ticking up for him. This is a great spot going up against the Phoenix Suns, which I do like the upside. And I think that he can go out here and give us a decent performance if we get aggressive Vucevic. We get Vooch that's taking the 12 to 15 shots. I like the upside for what he potentially get us over here in the spot. Everyone else over here, unless Giddey is out, is all GPP options. Like I don't even really consider them over there. Now on the Sun side of things, this is just an easy day. The whole starting five is practically in play. Devin Booker, good spot for him. Kevin Durant, who's going to guard him? Nick Richards, centers versus the Bulls. That was a thing all season. If they start Gillespie, which is this, that was the issue. Gillespie got the start, but Tyus Jones still played 27 minutes. My take on that would be I would still go if they start Gillespie, I would go right back to it. Went out there, shot 1 of 4, 1 of 3 from the field. Didn't really give us too much. I've seen it time and time again when a player gets to start, they don't really perform in that first game that they got to start. The second game that they start, though, pop. I'm going to take the chance on Gillespie if I land on him. If I decide that I want to go down that low and be able to play, I wouldn't mind getting there. But I will say the safer play between the two will be Tyus Jones, that you will probably rather get to when it comes down to it. Nick Richards, we definitely would want to consider him here in the game that he played versus them back in February. 28 minutes, dropped 29 fantasy points. We know he has a double-double upside, and his center's going up against the Bulls. That's all we got to say right there in that spot. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, you guys were able to get a little something with the video. Drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy the content. Good luck to everybody out there. Let me know what is going to be your stud of the night. Are you playing Luka or are you playing the Joker? Peace.